Here's those doors I was talking about changing. This is the clean grain elevator, goes up to the tank, for those of you that aren't familiar with combines. And they had an optional door that was perforated. I run this with corn and soybeans. Then all the little fines, weed seeds and chaff and stuff, a lot of it can make its way out through that and give me a cleaner grain sample. And same with the return elevator. Just get more of that crud out. Of course, those holes are too big for wheat. I'd be losing lots of wheat, so that's why I have the solid doors that I have to swap out. Here, let's stick our heads up in there and see if we can, got enough light to, barely, it's dark. There's a fan up there that blows air through, and then the grain goes over these, and you can adjust how far open. I can barely see them moving, but they do move. Excuse me. There they go. But the more open they are, the more stuff's going to fall through. You kind of try to pick a spot where the grain can fall through, but the bigger chunks go out, come out the back here. They fall through, the grain falls through, and there's another one that separates it even finer. But anything that doesn't make it through that one underneath comes and falls down here, and that goes into what they call the clean grain, or the return elevator. And all that does is send it back up to be threshed again. So if you got bits and pieces that didn't get threshed good enough the first time, they go through again and get threshed and cleaned up. And so that's what that return elevator is for. But if I can get some of the fines out on that, but once again, there's gonna be wheat in there, so we don't want it falling through. There's Mr. Toad. Seems like every day when I open these doors up, that same toad. I've never seen such a dark toad around here. And somehow he avoids getting run over every day too. We usually try to shoo him off. I've got the door swapped out, just thought I'd show. This is how it moves grain to the top. These paddles are on a chain, and they just go around and go up and carry the grain up to the top and flip it over into a auger that carries it into the center of the tank. Nothing terribly fancy, but it's gentle on the grain. It's probably getting where it needs replaced. It's got some wear on the edge here. Then again, it's the original one. It's got a lot of hours on it. There we go. There. Solid door. Wheat can't fall through. Now to do the return elevator. And while putting my non-perforated door on the tailings or return elevator, just checking the chain, and it's pretty loose. And I've got all the adjustment taken out on it, so it's time for a new chain. It's just, so I just ordered one of those at lunch. Another $316. But that sure beats it going out in the middle of harvest, getting caught on something because it's too loose, caught whipping around in there. That should be here in a couple of days. This one ain't so bad. I can't run wheat if I really want to, but it just needs replaced. I got some drive belts that ain't quite right. Guess I kind of remember that from last fall. Doesn't seem so important when you're not using it. I hadn't noticed this belt had jumped over a groove. The belt's all right. That probably happened when the backing come off this belt. It should have a solid backing like that one or that one. But I got a new one on hand. So I gotta loosen this one up anyways to get the other two off. Each one drives a hydrostatic pump. This front one drives the transmission, which make the combine go on the ground. And then the back one drives the rotor, which does all the threshing. It's definitely something you want to keep up because that belt goes and it just flips into everything. I had that happen before, and better just to stay on top of it and keep them up to shape. Granted, those belts are around 150 bucks each. And a step ladder is kind of essential for doing it. Got to go grab some wrenches in my belts, and I'm going to change those out. Well, less than an hour, and got all the 2 belts changed and the other one back on its right track. So that ain't too bad. I've changed them out in the field before when they look rough. And they'll go from looking good one day to falling apart the next. There's a lot of horsepower going through them. But now, well, here's the one. As you can see, it's now 3 individual belts. It should be one combo belt like this, bonded belt. I'm going to keep this one. It's not in bad shape. It could come in handy. But this other one, it gets to go into circular file. It's earned its keep. Now I just got, oh, let's see how much light's up here. The bearings in this pulley here are getting loose, so I just got to loosen up this spring here and get the tension off so I can get the belt off, take this pulley off, and I've got bearings for it. I got those coming last fall. Could tell, or I was hearing an occasional noise out of it until it was getting dry. I was able to get harvest finished up, but definitely need to get it taken care of before things start back up. So before I couple the head up, I was thinking about, I've got a belt, but this one looks to be in pretty good shape. Hard to tell with as dark as it is here. I don't think it'll let me turn on the light now. Maybe. Flashlight. No. Okay, well anyways. I think I'll leave this belt on here. It looks to be in good shape, but I do have one to replace it if this one goes. Get to work. Okay, got my pulley off. There was a snap ring in here. I already took that off. Need to press the bearing out. I'm going to put, don't go anywhere, this socket under here to support it, so I'm not pushing on this outer face and possibly breaking these. Then I just need something to push on that bearing with. It shouldn't come out too hard. And there it goes. And I hit the socket. But now that I know it's going to come out easy, I'm going to do something different. It might come out. Yep, nut to it. This old press has been around here, well, I'm sure longer than me. Yeah. It's still spun, but it sounds dry. It's loose. Its time wasn't much longer here. Got a brand new one. And I got a different socket. Although using the old one will work too. And we'll use a socket. Because I only want to push around the outside edge of the bearing. You probably can't see that from there. But I just got a socket that reaches the outside, so I'm not putting pressure on the inside. That doesn't put any pressure on the balls while you're pushing. There. Feels like it's hit the bottom. I can see the snap ring groove. All I gotta do is take snap ring and the snap ring pliers. Come on. This is the part where I should be wearing safety glasses. Get in here. There. All snapped into place. Fresh bearing. It ain't loose. Here's the press. Let's see if she'll focus on it. Come on. Well, anyways, manufacturing date, August 9th of 1943. There, it's focusing on it. Still earning its keep after all these years. My guess would be they bought it new, since we've been a dealership since about 37, or we're a dealership since about 37, and they did repairs before that. And I bumped the stop button. But anyways, yes, they probably bought it new. 75 tons. I just recently put it on wheels to make it a little easier to move around, get it out where you can get some bigger stuff in it. Plus it got it up a little higher for a little taller things, the shafts and stuff. That's the old press. Yeah, she's clean. As clean as it's gonna get for now. Power washed off. Or as I like to call it, the transfer process, because it might be as clean as it's gonna get. I'm about as dirty as I'm gonna get. Oop. I guess I can't switch camera angles. Yeah. But get all that grease and dirt and dust and stuff off from there. A lot less likely to have a fire, or if you do, hopefully easier to contain. Knock on wood. Haven't had one, don't need one. Well, I think it's time to put her away, because now I need a bath. Thanks for watching.